My name is Lander Karath. I'm Associate Editor with FasterSkier, and I'm here with Alex Harvey of the Canadian national team. He's won 2 medals here in Falun, Sweden at the 2015 Nordic World Championships. Once Thursday in the Classic Sprint and Saturday in the Skiathlon. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
How have these last few days been here in Falun?
It's been nice. It's been fun. We've had a lot of reason to celebrate, eat some team cake, and went for dinner last night. So yeah, it's been really fun for me and the whole team.
Yeah, what kind of support have you received both here and from home since winning your 2 medals?
Well, here, I mean, our immediate crew with the wax technician, coaches and everything, they're supportive every day, but that's whether we win or we come last, they're just as supportive. And at home, it's been nice. I've been receiving a lot of emails from friends and Facebook messages, Twitter messages, just a bunch of, with social media now, it's pretty easy for people to get in touch with me. So it's been great to receive all that positive energy and everybody's back home is psyched.
What does it feel like to have 2 medals already in these championships in the 2 races you've competed in?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, I've only had 2 medals in my whole career for World Senior Championships, but now to have 2 in the span of 3 days, it was pretty special for me. But yeah, it feels great. It shows that the hard work pays, but sometimes it doesn't always pay, so it's nice that it's paying double these days.
Yeah, and you have some history here on the trails of Falun. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it started even before I was born when my dad won in both 87 and 88. So that was the first time a Canadian's ever won a World Cup in cross-country skiing. And then for me, it came 25 years after his first win in 2012. I got my first ever World Cup win here, so that was great. And then Devon was second in the overall World Cup with closing the season here. So for Canada, it's always been great. And yeah, now coming into World Championship with 2 medals is a great feeling.
In Thursday's sprint, you were kind of the come-behind fellow out there. In each of the heats, you would kind of start near the back, but then make your way to the front. Talk about that and how you were able to accomplish that in each of your heats.
Well, it's kind of the same pattern for me. And at the beginning of the sprint, I'm just not quick enough to accelerate and position myself in the top 2 or 3. So I always have to kind of come from behind. It's in my life, like in my career, even if I made the sprint final, I've never been in the front at the beginning. So for me, I just don't panic and I just look for open space and make sure that when I do want to make a pass, I commit 100%. I don't try here on the left and there on the right and then kind of waste useless energy for no position. So if I want to gain a position, I make sure that the move I'm making is fully committed and that the energy I'm putting down on the track is worth something, not just kind of half passing a guy and then not winning any position. So I just try to take the cheap moves, so in the downhills and corners, the free moves that you don't spend any energy for, those are good too. So, but and then after that, I know that the second half of the sprint is always more to my advantage, since sprinters get a bit more tired than I do. They get tired a bit faster than I would do. So yeah, just combination of that, good endurance, and of course the equipment has to be good when you come from behind, because if you make a pass in the downhill, you need to have fast skis. And so, yeah.
After Thursday's silver medal, what did you think your chances were of medaling again in Saturday's skiathlon?
Well, I mean, anytime I start a race, I always think I always believe I have a chance of a podium. I always go out for the podium. So I believed in my chances, and I knew the shape was there, and I still trained more for distance and sprinting. So I knew that if the sprinting was going well, the distance would probably go well as well. But yeah, you can never know until you cross the finishing line. So it felt really good in the classic part. The equipment was amazing, and body didn't feel that as good as the classic, but the equipment was better, so that compensated for that. Yeah,
and you led for a lot of that race. Was that something you had planned to do?
Yeah, I talked about it with the coaches before. I did that last year in Falun, and when I won that 30K. And for me in skating up Murderbakken, I'm just not strong enough, so the best position for me is actually to be in the front and control the group, control the speed, go to a speed that's comfortable for me, and that's what I was trying to do. So even on the 3rd lap, the last lap of skating, exiting the stadium, I was about 7th, 8th position, and then I kind of try to burst over the top to position myself in a good spot by the base of Murderbakken. I think I was 2nd then, so to know that I would lose position there, but if you start losing position from 2nd place, you drift maybe back to 5th or 6th rather than starting from 6th and drifting to 10th or 12th. So that was my strategy.
Yeah, and what was one of the biggest turning points in that race for you?
Well, when I crested over the top of Murderbakken, I knew that I was still in contention for the podium because the guys for sure had a legitimate gap. They had 9 seconds by then, I think. But it was still, in my view, it was still a gap that was within reach. And I had the help of Maurice Magnifica, who was super motivated after the podium he had in Östersund. And he must have been feeling good in the skating. So he worked hard for about 500 meters. And then I was able to close the last 6 seconds, I think, that we had by then.
And you were catching up to Derek Tonseth of Norway at that last part. You know, and I remember watching and seeing you kind of falling back on the hills right there and maybe catching back up on the downhills. Did you believe that you'd be able to pass him in those final meters like you did?
Yeah, I did. I mean, he's not a huge, strong guy. He's not a great sprinter. And on those climbs, I'm just not fast enough in skating. I'm just not strong enough in the legs to go hard, but I was focusing on pushing hard the last 1 or 2 stride over the top to generate some speed and use the draft. And like, I think if you crest over the top of hill right on somebody's skis, you're not going to be able to have a slingshot effect, but I try to keep some meters and then kind of push 1 stride further than the guy in front of me, so then you can get a slingshot effect. So I was trying to use that every time I could to enter the uphill with a bit more speed and then ski a bit easier, drift back again and do that in the next downhill. So I do that a lot in my starts.
You're one of only a few athletes to have a medal in both sprinting and distance at a World Championships. And what does it take to excel in both of those techniques?
Well, I mean, for sure part of it is genetic, it's luck. I was born lucky enough to have both a bit of enough speed, enough power, enough endurance. But I think I also work very hard for all the disciplines, for sprinting, for long distance, for classic, for skating. So in the summer, my weakness I know is speed and like high power anaerobic intensity. So I do a lot of that in the gym, short workouts with younger guys in Quebec that are really strong anaerobically. So we try to work a lot on the weaknesses. But then, as the closest I get to the championship, I kind of fully turn around, and then because I know that when I win a race, it's because of my strength. So then in the months leading to the championship, I focus only on my strength and hope that the work that I've done over the summer and the fall, you know, the work on my weaknesses, I hope it's good enough for the championship. Because, yeah, with a month to go, for me, it's not time to work on the weaknesses anymore. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to be fast enough to kind of qualify in the sprints and then have enough endurance to last through the rounds. And then in distance, I'm lucky to have enough endurance compared to the top endurance guy, but still have a bit more speed than them at the finish line. So it's kind of best of both worlds.
Yeah. And what has the atmosphere been like here in Falun? In the skiathlon, there are, I think, over 40,000 people watching. What has that been like? Oh,
it's been great. A lot of people are on Murderbakken, and that's definitely where you're suffering the most. So the loud noises and cheer helps forget the pain a little bit. So it's been great. And coming into the stadium in the last 200 meters, then it's super, super loud. And I'm sure they were a bit upset that the Swedes weren't fighting for a podium, but I think when they saw that Canadian had a chance to kick Norway out of the last podium position, they were cheering really loud for me, so that was good.
Yeah, and what do your 2 medals mean for the Canadian program?
Well, I mean, that's kind of in high performance, results are pretty much everything, and for us it's always with regards to the next Olympic. So we just started a new Olympic cycle, and for On the Podium, Sport Canada, it's important to focus on the next Winter Games for winter sports, which is 2018, and they see now that we still are podium threats, because we were podium threats in Sochi, but we didn't reach a podium. But I think now we're just showing that we're still podium threats, so that they can still hopefully send some money our way, and we can still have successful training camps and have a good waxing team and have everything we need to be able to have a chance at least to medal at the next Olympic Games.
Yeah, and Looking forward through the rest of this championships, how are you feeling, and is there possibly another medal on the horizon?
Well, the race I've been thinking the most about throughout the whole year is the one that's going to happen on March 1st, the 50K. So I've been doing a lot of long skis over the summer, 4-hour classic skis on roller skis, long runs, and I always thinking about that day of March 1st. So I'm really looking forward to it now. The skis have been really good both in classic and skating, and but throughout the winter, classic has been feeling much better for me. So I'm really excited about next Sunday.
Well, we'll be here cheering you on, Alex.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.